Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lauren, this is Ziggy, and Zoe's behind. Today is episode 7 of the core conditioning series, the final episode in this series, which is putting all 6 of the previous episodes together in an all-encompassing flow that is centered around core stability, core mobility, so getting the core to move in all different directions, and as a result, creating more balance and more stability of the core from the inside out. So for today's class, you'll just need 2 blocks. And if you would like some suggestions on some of my favorite props that I like to use, then I will link my Amazon storefront in the description below, so you can check out some of those suggestions that work for me. So grab all the things that you need for today's class, slip into something comfortable. While you're at it, hit that subscribe and like button so you can stay up to date on new classes, new episodes, new content in general that I'll be putting out, and I'll meet you here on the mat. All right, let's get started on our backs first to find our breath and to feel the 360-degree expansion and contraction of our breathing. So take a yoga block with you as you lie down on your back. And as you do so, you're going to plant the soles of the feet to the floor, about hips width distance apart, and then slide that block in between your inner thighs. Relax your head to the ground and place your hands on your belly. Now, I don't want you to think too hard or overthink this, but think about your core in the shape of a cylinder. If you've done all of the other previous classes, you will have connected to this in a variety of other ways, including this way here. The top of the cylinder is the diaphragm, which is inside of your rib cage. The bottom of the cylinder is the base of the pelvis, the pelvic floor muscles. And the sides of that cylinder are all the layers that wrap around your waist. As you're visualizing that cylinder, start to connect your breath with that visualization. Take a deep inhale, feeling expansion out and down. Notice how your inner thighs relax against that block. And then exhale, hug your inner thighs to the block, feel the contraction up and in. Do that again. Inhale, expansion out and down, a bit of relaxation through the inner thighs. Exhale, contraction in and up. Good. Keep breathing just like that. You may notice the ribs are the last to drop down to create a cohesive, balanced, and stable core all the way around. Just by pressurizing and depressurizing the core. Take a couple more cycles of breath. Take one more breath in and out. And then from here, go ahead and remove the block, set it to the side. You can hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Okay, so right there, you may have felt that control of your breath, like I mentioned, pressurizing and depressurizing the core. Now, keeping that in mind, we're going to add more challenge to the core right now, as we're going to focus on rotational challenge of the core. So you're going to take that block to your right elbow, or rather your right knee and your left elbow. Okay, so like you're trying to squish it. Your hands will come behind your head and you're going to rotate your chest towards the right. You're kind of finding this bit of rotation in your mid upper back here. Take a breath in. Exhale, squish the block, pressing your elbow to your knee. Notice how there's that contraction all the way around your rib cage. Again, inhale, relax a bit. Exhale, squish into that block. Now, you can keep the left foot planted, or if you want more challenge, you can lift your left leg up, maybe to the sky, or you can start to make that weight a bit heavier by extending the leg forward. You may feel a bit of trembling. Your core muscles are really working here. If you feel like your back is compromising, replant that left foot. Work as honestly as possible, practicing satya or truthfulness. Take 2 more cycles of breath here. Once more. And then release. Set the block to the side. Hug your knees to your chest. Rock from side to side. All right, so now we're going to switch to the other side. Your right elbow and your left knee. Take the block the longest setting so you have some space between your elbow and knee. Take an inhale here, hands behind your head, elbows wide. Exhale, squish the block, elbow to knee, ribs down. Good. Again, you can keep the right foot planted, or you can lengthen your right leg to the sky. You want to add more challenge, you can lengthen that leg forward. You can also bend the knee a little bit to decrease the weight. Take 3 more cycles of breath. And then release. Whew, that one always feels a lot harder than it looks. And then you can windshield wiper the leg side to side. You're going to probably start to feel your body warming up here. All right, so now we're going to kind of pick up where we left off from, I believe it was episode 5, which incorporated rotational movements of the spine here. So we're going to do that dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, or DNS for short, STAR. So it's a combination of engaging through the side body and those rotator muscles. So you're going to take your legs in a reverse tabletop position, knees over your hips, shins about parallel to the floor, so you kind of get the gist of the shape. Reach both arms up to the sky. Take a breath in. Exhale, you're going to roll to your right, pressing your elbow down about waist height. Now, if you remember from the episode 5, if your elbow's above your shoulder, it's going to be harder to press up. So creating those triangle angles, it's going to make it easier. Press your right forearm into the ground. Lift up from there. So you're balancing on your right forearm and your right hip for right now. Notice if you're collapsing in your shoulder, push down to lift up. Then you're going to press into your shins, lift your hips up like you're coming to a variation of a side plank. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to reach your top arm and top leg in opposite directions. Notice how my chest is rotating down, but my hips and pelvis are attempting to rotate up towards the sky. Inhale, come back to where you were a moment ago. Exhale, roll to your back and come back to that starting point. We're going to roll to the other side now. So inhale here. Exhale, roll to your left, placing your elbow down, shoulder or waist height. Press your forearm down and lift up onto your left hip. Then press your shins down, lift your hips up, take an inhale. Exhale, you're going to reach your top arm and top leg in opposite directions. Really emphasize that reach. Inhale, return to that modified side plank. Exhale, roll to your back. Good. Let's do that, let's say 3 more times each side to get 4 total. Working at your own pace. Takes a little bit to get used to these movement patterns. But once you do, it starts to feel like a flow, right? Where you're moving in and out of the shapes with your breath as your guide. If you're about the same tempo as me, I've just completed my second. I'm going to do 2 more on both sides. One more, both directions. Make sure you're nice and stable through the bottom hip and shoulder, whichever one that you're balancing on for that side plank. And then make your way to your back, assuming there's not a dog there. And then hug your knees to your chest, rock from side to side. If you've been following my channel and my videos, you could probably tell that Ziggy's the more needy one. He wants attention all the time. Unless he doesn't want attention, then he'll let you know, just leave me alone. All right, so from here, we're gonna make our way up and move through our first standing flow. So you can either rock up or roll to one side and press up. All right, and come onto your hands and knees in a tabletop shape. First and foremost, have your 2 blocks at the top of the mat. You may want to utilize them as you move through the flow practice. Now we're going to move through a segmented cat-cow, which requires a lot of control. And if you partook in episode 6, you'll remember this from that last episode. So as you're here, come into a neutral spine in your tabletop shape, stacking your shoulders over your elbows and your knees underneath your hips. As you're in this neutral spine, let's start by first moving from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. So as you inhale, you're going to slowly start to tilt your tailbone up, arching the low back. Notice how the rest of my upper body stays the same. My mid back, arch through the mid upper back, the upper back, the shoulders start to draw down and together, and then you look up towards the sky. From here, we're going to move from now moving from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So draw the chin to the chest, keeping everything stable. Then add the push of your shoulders into a protracted or spread position. Round your upper back, mid low back, all the way until you start to finally curl the tailbone underneath. And you come in your cat pose shape. Now we're going to move back into cow pose, slowly from the tailbone up to the crown of your head. So tilt the tailbone towards the sky, arch the lower back, mid-low back, mid-back, mid-upper back, shoulder blades drawing back and down, and then your head lifts. Let's do that again from the crown of the head to the tailbone and the tailbone to the crown of the head. So draw the chin to the chest. Push the hands down, spread the shoulders wide, but try to keep a bit of that arch in your upper back. Then start to round your upper back, mid low back, and then curl the tailbone underneath. Do that one more time from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Tailbone lifts up, arching through your low back, mid upper back and shoulders, and then lift the crown of the head to the sky. Good. Let's actually move through that one more time from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So we end in that cat shape. Chin to chest. Push the shoulders forward, rounding your upper back, mid low back, and finally the tailbone. Now, as you hold in this cat pose shape, sit your hips to the heels, trying to keep your back as rounded as possible. Take a breath in and a breath out. Good. And then come back into a neutral spine. From here, reach your right arm up to the sky. Avoid swaying your hips to the right. Try to keep them stacked over the knees. Exhale, thread the needle, right arm underneath your left armpit, resting on the right shoulder. Now try to keep the pelvis level. I like to take my left hand to the back of the pelvis and the sacrum and find where I am in space, stacking my hips over my knees. Then once you've found more of a neutral lower back and you're twisting from your mid upper back, you can place the left hand under the left shoulder, or you can reach the arm overhead to give you a bit more leverage to rotate your spine. Take a breath in and a breath out. Unwind, placing your left hand underneath your left shoulder. Reach your right arm back up towards the sky. Now from here, we're going to open into a modified variation of side plank. So left knee stays grounded. You're going to kickstand your left foot to the left-hand side and extend your right leg behind you. So you're in a side plank or Vashisthasana shape. Take a breath in, pressing down through your left hand, rolling your left shoulder back. As you exhale, place the right hand behind your head. You can slide your right foot back a bit more and inhale, open your chest to the sky. Take one more breath in. Exhale, look to the top of your mat. Step your right foot forward, big step. Now, if it doesn't get there on the first try, just grab behind your right heel and slide it forward. You can always pat up your left knee, folding up the side of your mat or sliding a pillow underneath. Inhale, rise into crescent moon. Back knee stays grounded and avoid sinking into your lunge. Pull out of it a little bit and then think about dragging your right heel back energetically and pushing your left knee forward energetically. We're going to move through a combination of a side bend and a twist. So take an inhale here. Exhale, hands behind your head and twist to your right. Now, keeping that energy in the legs and in the hips and pelvis, trying to keep your pelvis in as neutral of a position as possible. So you're twisting from your mid upper back. Take an inhale as you're here. Exhale, add a side bend in that twist. So right elbow towards the right hip, left elbow to the sky. Come back up, inhale. You may notice I gave you a little bit more space on that left side. Exhale, twist. Maybe that means you can twist a little deeper. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale. Exhale, side bend, right elbow, right hip, left elbow towards the sky. Notice how I'm still in my twist. Come back up, inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit more. I think we got one more here. Inhale. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, come back up. Exhale as you twist. Good. Take both arms out wide and notice where your chest is pointing. Your arms can be a little bit misleading, but wherever your chest is pointing, that's how far you've turned. And maybe you feel like you've gone a little bit further than when you started. Place your right hand to your back leg, coming into an exalted crescent moon. Inhale, lift up through your chest, lift up through your left fingertips. So you're in a bit of a twist and a bit of an extension in your spine here. Exhale, circle both hands down, come into your low lunge. Lift off the back knee, inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Step both feet to the top of the mat, about hips width distance apart, and let your head hang. You can bend the knees as much as you need, and maybe it feels nice to add a sway side to side. Good. 2 options to come up to stand. So you can keep that bend in the knees and then roll up. It's going to feel a lot more like there's a lot more tension on your back. Or if that's too much, bend your knees and rise up with the flat spine. So whichever way you're choosing to come up, start making your way to stand. And as you do so, roll your shoulders back and down. You can stay facing at the top of the mat. I'll just turn to the side here so you can see where we're going next. So we're going to take a full circle. This is called a controlled articular rotation, or a CAR for short. So we're going to be moving the spine in a circular motion. Take an inhale as you're here, arms out wide. Exhale, give yourself a hug. Right arm goes on top. Take a breath in, try to grab your shoulders. Exhale, round your back, keep a bend in the knees, drawing your elbows towards the belly button, chin to your chest. Take an inhale. As you exhale, rotate your spine to your right. Think elbows towards the right thigh. Good. Now keep breathing on your own as you add a side bend to your right. Notice how you're opening up that left side of the body. Start to arch your back. Side bend to the left. Take a breath in here. Exhale as you round your back, drawing your elbows towards your left thigh. And then come back to center. On your next inhale, unwind, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, hinge at your hips, fingertips towards the floor. This is maybe where you have the blocks, so you're bringing the floor up to you, and you can bring those blocks any height. Inhale as you lift halfway, so your fingertips to the floor, to your blocks, or even to your shins. Now notice from your hips up, you're basically set up in a plank pose. Your spine is in a neutral position. Your core muscles are engaged to keep your spine in that position. Now bend the knees. All you have to do from here is plant your hands to the ground and then step your feet back in a plank pose. Take a breath in, push the floor away, draw your rib cage towards the back part of the rib cage, so front to back. Option to lower the knees. It's going to give you a little bit more stability, more support. Exhale as you lower all the way to the belly. Now as you do so, try to touch your chest, belly, and thighs at the same time. Untuck your toes, hugging your ankles towards one another. Inhale, Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. As you lift your chest, your hands can be light, they could even be hovering, or you can press lightly. Now hold as you're here and notice if you're feeling a pinch sensation in the lower back. If that is happening, think about tilting the front part of your pelvis towards your face and tilting the back part of your pelvis towards your feet. And that may help just to create a little bit more length in that lower back region. Exhale, release all the way down. Now we're going to move through that one more time, and you have the option to come up a little higher in your cobra or into upward facing dog. If you're taking up dog, slide your wrists underneath your elbows, pull your shoulders back, press down into the feet, inhale, lengthen your arms if you're taking up dog, or you can keep your elbows bent so you're in a little lower cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Sit your hips to your heels. Knees can be together or out wide, your choice. If you would like to create more of that expansion in the low back, knees together, arms can go by your side. Take a breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. Go ahead and press yourself up onto your hands and knees. All right, I'm going to flip the other way just so that you can continue to still see me and I'll still see you. And we're going to move through that same exact flow on the other side, skipping though that segmented cat-cow. So as you find your way on your hands and knees in that tabletop shape, push the floor away, draw the rib cage up, take an inhale as you reach your left arm up to the sky this time. Try to keep your hips stacked over the knees. Exhale, thread the needle, slide your left arm under your right armpit, resting down on the left shoulder and left side of your head. I like to once again place my right hand to the back of the pelvis, and I can already feel my right hip is kind of swayed out and higher up. So I like to roll my right hip back and down, left hip forward and up until I feel like it's level. This is a good way to gain proprioception or an understanding of your body and space. Then you can place the right hand under the right shoulder or crawl the right fingertips forward as you rotate your spine. Take one more breath in and out. Slide your right hand underneath your right shoulder. Reach your left arm up to the sky once again. And then you're going to kickstand your right foot to the right and extend your left leg towards the back part of your mat. So you're in that side plank, that modified variation of Vashisthasana. Take an inhale as you're going to open your chest towards the sky, placing your left hand behind your head. You can slide your left foot back a little bit. Good. Nice big extension of the spine and the hips. As you exhale, look forward and step your left foot to the top of the mat in a low lunge. Again, you can pat up your back knee, maybe folding up the side of your mat, and then rise in your crescent moon, arms to the sky. So as you're here, again, think about energizing and engaging from the ground up. So think like you're pulling that left foot back and pressing the right knee forward. That's going to keep your lower part of the body stable to support the upper part of the body that's going to be moving. Inhale as you're here. Exhale, hands behind the head and twist to your left this time. Take an inhale. Exhale, side bend. Left elbow to the left hip, right elbow towards the sky. Come back up out of the twist, but stay in, come back up out of the side bend rather, but stay in the twist as you inhale. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Inhale here. Exhale, side bend. Come out of that side bend, but stay in the twist. Inhale and exhale. Good. From here, notice how far you've rotated from start to where you're at now, and then take both arms out wide. Again, notice where your chest is pointing, your arms, it can be a little bit misleading sometimes. Place your left hand to your back leg. Inhale, lift up through your chest, exalted crescent moon. Exhale, windmill both hands down and step both feet behind your hands. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Let your head hang. Keep that bend in the knees. You can rise up with a flat spine or roll up to stand one vertebra at a time. And then shrug your shoulders back and down. All right, so now we're going to move through those cars or those circular spinal movements on the other side. So take both arms out wide as you inhale. Exhale, left arm's going to go on top this time. Grab your shoulder blades. Inhale here. Exhale, round your back, drawing your elbows towards your belly button, chin to your chest. Inhale. Exhale, rotate your spine towards your left. Take an inhale. Exhale, side bend to your left. Left shoulder, left hip. Good. Inhale, you're going to arch your back, chest up, rib cage up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Right shoulder towards the right hip. Try to create as much expansion on that left side. Inhale here. Exhale, round your elbows towards that right thigh. You may feel that pull on the low back on the left-hand side. Inhale. Finally, exhale, draw the elbows to the belly button, chin to your chest. Unwind your arms. Inhale, reach them up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend at your knees, hinge at your hips. Again, hands can come to the blocks any height. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, so fingertips to the shins, the blocks, or the floor. You're already set up in your plank. So exhale, just bend the knees, plant your palms, and then step your feet back in that plank shape. Again, your plank can be with both legs lengthened behind you or both knees grounded. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower all the way to the belly, controlled descent. Let's take that cobra pose once again. Press down into the tops of the feet, engaging the back body. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, release all the way down. If you're feeling too much pressure in the low back, think about lengthening the low back by tilting the front of your hips towards your face, the back part of your hips towards your feet. Inhale, maybe you lift up a bit higher or sliding the wrists back. Come into your upward facing dog, lengthening the arms, keeping the shoulders pulling back and down. Exhale, child's pose. Knees can come together or out wide, your choice. Arms can be forward or by your side. Take 3 cycles of breath here. From here, we're going to move through our final flow, which is a continuation from the last one. So when you're ready, come into downward facing dog. You're going to push the hands down, tuck the toes under, and lift your hips up and back. Now, in your down dog, don't worry so much about, where your heels are, if your knees are bent. I want you to just think about pushing the floor away and finding a stable place to be in this shape. If your hands are sliding, grip into the fingertips and knuckles like they're your brakes. Now from here, inhale, right leg goes up. Now the tendency when we do this is just kind of kick that right leg up and let the hip open. But I want you to think about hugging your inner thighs together like there's an imaginary block there, and then toes down, heel up. Now as you're here, option to come up onto the left fingertips. That's going to really challenge the stability of your core. Maybe you see what it's like to reach your left arm forward like you're shaking someone's hand. Nice. Lower the left hand down. Step your right foot forward so you're in a lunge. Left hand stays grounded. So maybe that means your left hand is on a block. You can bring that block any height just to give you a little bit more support and space. Right arm comes up as you're in that twist. Back leg's going to be nice and active. And think again, like you're pulling the right heel back, you're pushing the left heel forward, and you're hugging your inner thighs together. From here, big transitions. You're going to have to engage the obliques, internal and external. Rise all the way up in your twists, kind of picking up where we left off last. Inhale, right hand to your back leg, exalted crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Good. From here, you're going to pivot the back heel down and open up into warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Don't worry about the alignment of your front foot to your back foot. Just think your right leg is bent and your right hip is rotating externally to whatever degree that feels appropriate in your body. Same with the back leg. The back leg is extended behind you and it could be rotated a little bit in or even a little out, okay? So find where you're gonna be in your body. If you feel like there's any pressure in the knees, hips, or ankles and it's too much, then just widen your stance. Then as you're here, pause, arms are gonna be out wide, keeping your lower body nice and stable. We're gonna move from your hips up. So flip the right palm up to the sky, inhale, reverse warrior. As you lean to your left, left side is shortened, right side is lengthened. They're tensioning in different ways. Exhale, right arm down, extended side angle, left arm up. Good, now you're engaging both sides to keep your body in a stable shape. Let's move through that 2 more times. Leaning back, inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. 1 more time, inhale, lean back to your left. Exhale, extended side angle. Good, take a breath in. Exhale, circle both hands down as you pivot off the back heel. So all 10 toes are gonna be pointing forward. You can move the blocks to the top. Left hand is gonna plant down. Now from here, we're gonna come into side plank. So you can take the variation we moved through in the first flow with the back knee grounded, kickstanding your foot to the side and right leg goes back. Or you can come into the option where both legs are lengthened, feet can be staggered, right foot in front of left, or feet could be stacked on top of one another. Take an inhale here. Exhale, you're gonna lower the right forearm to the ground and turn to your left. If you want to take it with the bottom knee grounded, you're just gonna lower your bottom knee and shin down, left leg extended back. Take an inhale here. Exhale, come into forearm plank. You can interlace the hands. Your legs can be long, maybe both knees grounded. Take a breath in. We're challenging the stability of the core, so try not to move the center of the body. Inhale, lower your hips and pelvis. You're set up on your forearms in Sphinx pose. Push the chest forward, pull the elbows back. Exhale, release all the way down. Press yourself up, either on your hands and knees or plank, your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Nice, you're gonna move through that on the other side. Extend your left leg behind you, toes down, heel up, inner thighs hugging together. Again, maybe you take the option to come up onto the right fingertips, maybe reaching the right arm forward like you're shaking someone's hand. Lower the right hand down and step your left foot forward, low lunge. Again, right hand can be propped up on a block, any height that you would like to work with. As you come into your twist, left arm up to the sky. Take an inhale as you're here. Exhale, rise all the way to stand in that twist. Left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, exalted crescent lunge. Left hand to your right leg, the back of the leg. Right arm up towards the sky. Lift up to your chest. Exhale, big transition, warrior two. So pivot the back heel down. Take the arms out wide. Pause as you're here. We're going to take extended and reverse. So tilting to the side, inhale, lean back, extend or reverse warrior. Right hand light to your right leg. Exhale, extended side angle, left hand down, right arm up. Good, move through that 2 more times. Notice how you're tilting from the hips and pelvis to initiate the movement of the side body laterally. One more time. Take a breath in your extended side angle. Exhale, circle both hands down, pivoting off that back heel. Pause. You can move those blocks out of the way. Right hand down, come into your side plank. Again, right knee can ground, pivoting the foot to the side, kicking that left leg back, or you can extend both legs long, staggering or stacking your feet. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower the left forearm to the ground this time. Turn and face towards your right. Again, knees can be grounded for more support. Lower both forearms to the ground, forearm plank, inhale. Try to keep your head and your pelvis about the same height. Exhale, lower the knees, your hips, your pelvis, and come into your Sphinx pose. Inhale, chest forward, pull the elbows back. Maybe you come up into seal, pressing into your hands, lifting your elbows a bit higher, a bit more extension of the spine. Find where you're at. Exhale, release all the way down. This time you're going to stay here for 3 cycles of breath, resting your forehead to your hands, legs long, and bring your attention to your breath, especially in your back. See if you can feel that expansion and contraction, pressurizing and depressurizing of the core as you breathe. From here, slowly press yourself up on your hands and knees, and then swing the legs out in front of you. So you may have noticed through that very active and dynamic flow, we had a combination of stability work, think where you're trying to avoid moving the trunk and the core. And then we had a combination of different mobility exercises for the core, where we're focusing on twisting, side bending, extending or arching the back, right? And putting all of those things together, also flexing of the spine, right? And so through that, creating a balanced core all the way around and even down into the base of the pelvis, breathing into the pelvic floor. So now we're going to start to close out our practice, still keeping all of those things in mind though. So extend both legs out in front of you. And if sitting on the floor in this shape feels like it's having you fight against gravity, you're tilted backwards, then prop yourself up on a pillow, a bolster. You can even roll up the back of your mat so you're sitting up a bit more. You can also bend the knees a bit here too, okay? Take an inhale, reach both arms to the sky. Exhale, reach forward and down. Don't worry about touching your toes, grabbing your feet, but just reach as far forward as you can, wherever that is, and then fold downward. Yes, there's a bit of hamstring flexibility that's involved here to flex the hips, but also as you let your spine round, you may feel very similar to when you're in child's pose, that expansion in the back of your body. I mentioned from some of the previous episodes, if you tend to grip in your back to extend the spine, then this may feel really nice for that lower and mid back region. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then slowly roll all the way up. So from here, you're going to take a block as you make your way to your back. All right. As you lie all the way down, you're going to plant the soles, the feet to the floor as we come into a supported bridge. So lift your hips up, slide that block underneath your pelvis. Any height, just make sure that it feels flat under your sacrum. So if you feel the edges digging into the upper or lower part of the pelvis, it's in the wrong position or it's too high or too low. And then you can choose to keep your feet planted, or what I personally love to do is extend the legs out and reach the arms overhead, letting this be a very passive hip flexor stretch and extension here. You can choose to stay here if this is plenty. If you would like to add on more resistance, pull the right knee to your chest. You can hold around the shin or behind the thigh, and then find that opposition between push and pull. So you're pulling the right knee in, you're pushing the left heel forward and downward. And then switch to the other side. So right leg goes along, left knee pulls in. And then one at a time, plant your feet to the ground. Lift your hips up and move the block out of the way as you lower your pelvis back to the ground. We're going to end before Shavasana with a twist here. So you can either pull both knees to your chest and then drop your knees to your left, taking that right arm out wide. Or if you would like to take what I find to be a little deeper sensation wise, you can extend your left leg forward and then take that right leg across your body. What I like to do as I'm here as well is to take the left hand and kind of catch the outer part of that right hip, pulling it towards the left upper corner of the mat. So kind of at a straight line from your left shoulder towards that left front corner. Creating more space in the low back. And then slowly unwind. And we're going to switch to the other side. And then slowly make your way to your back. Once again, hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a final squeeze. Maybe drawing your forehead to the knees, your chin to your chest. And then release to your Shavasana, taking up as much space as you need, resting your hands by your side or on the belly. Since we've been very active through our core, let your core and your belly fully soften. To let go and to let be. Take a few more cycles of breath here. And if you would like a longer Shavasana, I know I personally love to take like a 5 to 10 minute Shavasana. You're more than welcome to continue into your Shavasana for as long as you need. But if you are ready to move on with the rest of your day, invite some gentle movement in the body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Encircle the wrists and the ankles in one direction and the other. And take a big stretch, reaching the arms overhead, finding a sigh and finding a yawn. Just notice the balance that you've created between effort and ease, between mobility and stability. And then when you're ready, hug both knees to your chest. You can roll to one side and gently press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. I thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I know it's a longer flow format, and I hope that you gave yourself the time and the space to be able to partake in this longer format class. And I hope that by putting all of these classes together, you can feel more informed, connected to your core, and to move from the core with more balance and stability in mind. As always, hit that subscribe and like button so you can stay up to date on all the new content that I'm releasing. Now that I've completed all 7 of this core conditioning series, share in the comments what you enjoyed most about the series, maybe some aha moments that you experienced, and what you're looking forward to next. I'm looking to create another new series, another new set of videos. So share in the comments what you would like to see from me next so that I can share and create content that is going to be of value to you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.